probably my two most interviewed DJs.
In this very same room as well.
Very same room. Probably the two DJs I've seen both most in my entire life.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining me again today.
Pleasure.
Now, Danny, last time I interviewed you, we were here for your kind of opening of the year set that you do annually.
Yeah.
Kind of like the first party of the year for Skyline. Then you came and played for us at the Super Progressive Day Party, which was awesome. Dave
It was good.
with you 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Getting after some work. And
Yeah,
here
yeah.
we are again after last year's amazing Selador event.
Yeah.
We're back again this year. We are in this cool run right now of last weekend you guys played together.
We were Latitude, yeah.
This weekend you guys are playing together. Next weekend we're in Croatia.
I can't get bloody rid of him.
My first
Condole you.
my first question is this. Let's take it back to the, when your guys' both careers kind of started around the same time-ish. 30 years later, do you think you guys, if you told the younger versions of yourself when you guys were playing together back then, 30 years later, you're still not only both DJing as your full-time career, but DJing together 3 straight weeks in the summer. Like, what's that like?
Well, I mean, Dave actually started quite a few years before me because I was at home in the early 90s recording his mixes on Radio 1. But yeah, we met in the early 90s at a Bedrock party or Babylicious party in Brighton. But yeah, I mean, I never would have dreamt we'd be doing it. I mean, to be honest, I didn't dream then I'd be doing it in 1 year's time, so let alone 30 or however many long it is.
I think like what the UK generally has had this history of youth culture, coming with these scenes, whether it be mods and rockers or punks or new romantics or whatever. So when this new thing came along at the end of the 80s, like the acid house movement, the rave movement, I think we probably all thought, there's a few years in this, but because all those things lasted a few years, but then eventually something else came along. So yeah, I mean, I was just thinking maybe it's 5-6 years in this. See if we can see how long we can make it last. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think.
Well, that's 60.
Yeah, we'll be wheeling us out in our 70s.
Got a few more years yet.
So yeah, amazing.
You said a Babylicious party in 1991. That's when you guys first met?
No, it was a couple of years later, actually. I remember it vividly, actually. It was over in Brighton. I think it was Babylicious. No, it was actually a Northern Exposure party. Babylicious was before. So I actually think it was on the Northern Exposure parties at
That would have been a bit later, though, wouldn't it? That would have been 90... When they were doing Northern Exposure, would have been 95, 96. Didn't we meet each other before?
I thought it was before.
I think Bedrock did a couple of parties. John did a couple of parties as Bedrock, I think, didn't he?
Oh, do you know what? I have to get the flyers out and actually remember when they were. But I know it was Brighton, the Paradox, probably like 94, 95.
Right.
And I don't think we played for a few years late until a few years after. But yeah, I do remember meeting you quite vividly because like you were like, I was a huge fan, and then like you were really friendly as well and nice to talk to. And I've met a few guys around that time that could be a bit kind of frosty and a bit kind of like that. But you were one of the
couldn't shut me up.
Yeah.
Still the same
you were
today.
very nice.
Although I'm trying to keep my voice together at the minute because he's going and we've got a long night ahead of us.
You're going to be screwed by the end of the night.
Very screamy up there.
we can get a little sentimental here, but I'll start with Danny. What do you appreciate most of what Dave brings to the table as a DJ?
Well, I mean, I think the things that I value most, which is like he's a proper digger. He's always putting out tunes that I think he's always on the hunt for tunes, and the way he puts them together, the way he builds his sets. I think it's always been the way. And I think Dave's definitely got his sound, but at the same time as well, you've got like a history of a knowledge of music that kind of spans every genre. Which I think is something that, I don't think I've got that, but I would aspire to have that sort of like encyclopedic knowledge. Yeah. But and I think, I think technically as well, I think Dave's technically, such a brilliant DJ. I mean, I've heard you play on systems where I've struggled before, and you've managed to sort of like make it flow, and I'm like, oh, shit, maybe it's my ears, but all the things that I value about a DJ, really, definitely.
Yeah, and I kind of asked
you the same question. Well, likewise, I mean, Dan's, very, when it comes to digging, I think he's number one, and his dedication to finding new music every week and the process that he goes through is incredible, but also technically fantastic as well, and but also his versatility as well. I think that we've done a lot of stuff together as 3D with Darren Emerson as well, and Danny can just kind of go off in lots of different directions, which is amazing that you can have such a vast kind of knowledge of the new music that's coming out in lots of different genres. Because a lot of DJs, excuse me, a lot of DJs get stuck in quite small niches. They defined that's kind of music they play. I would never say that about Danny, which is why he's some of these legendary long sets he does, where he goes through all different styles and genres. It's to behold, I think.
Oh, I thought I spread myself a bit too thin sometimes.
No, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that.
I think I overwhelm myself when I'm in the box sometimes. There's too much to choose from, and not just the quantity of tunes, but the sort of like range of styles, and it can easily mess up. You've heard me mess up many times.
I've never really had him mess up.
it like brings me back to super progressive, kind of starting as a channel dedicated to the 90s, early 2000s progressive house, but really what's been elusive to me is kind of a single definition of what progressive is. And I'm always brought back to kind of Dom Phillips' original definition, which is it's like mad but melodic, hard but tuneful. It's kind of these contradictions that happen at the same time within the sound. But I think both of you kind of bring me back to that progressive isn't a specific sound or a specific genre, but a blend. And I couldn't think of speaking to two DJs who kind of embody that more in their sets.
I think it's more of a spirit than a genre. Like it's like we've always kind of it's a bit of a cliche, but it's that kind of journey thing. You start at one place and you take it to another place, and over the course of that, we've just been talking about, you might start quite housey. And then it might, get a little bit tougher, and then it might get into much more what's considered to be the prog genre, and then but you might get into techno, or you might go slightly disco-y or indie dance or a bit of Afro, or that's progressive. That's literally progressing through the styles, so it doesn't just become so linear. Like I say, some DJs, brilliant as they are, like sometimes it just feels like one record. Like it's so linear. And that's what Danny's so adept at is going through the genres, and that for me is progressive. That always has been progressive, and will continue to be so for me. There is that kind of definition of what you would get on Beatport, of kind of that kind of rolling bass, and those ups and downs in terms of the breakdowns and things, which is kind of but progressive is much more than that for me. So I say it's more of a spirit than a genre.
I wouldn't add much to that, really. I feel the same way. I don't believe... I mean, there is a sort of style of music where you can say, oh, that's progressive. But I've always seen progressive as being, like you say, a wide range of music. But it's kind of in terms of how it's played, how it's put together, the way you sort of go between the genres. And you can really... I mean, really, I don't think there's much in terms of genre that's outside of what like either of us would really play. But it's just, I think it's the way you approach it. So I don't think I wouldn't add anything to that at all.
Yeah, and the way that you put it together, you're right, you just mentioned there as well, I think, that long, smooth, transitional mixing, so it really flows, like it's not chop and change, it's not like, about as further away from turntablism as you could possibly get.
Dave, you've been putting in a lot of work kind of going through your record collection and sharing with both longtime clubbers and new generation clubbers about the stories behind these different tracks in your collection, ranging from Renaissance to Shelley's, through all your compilations. My question is to Danny, have you been able to see any of these videos?
Yeah, I've seen loads of them.
And what do you think of them?
I think they're brilliant. I think
told
they're
me
really,
off
really
once
good.
because I put my fingers on the grooves.
No. I was always terrible. I still am with my record collection. I always hold it by the label and the edge. So when I see somebody hold by, I'm like, no, naughty man.
I do honestly do it. But
I want to give it a rub.
Yeah.
No, they're fantastic. Yeah, really, really, really good. I love them.
Yeah,
I've seen most of them. I think actually.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Like we're both big vinyl collectors. I think that's where it started for both of us, isn't it? Yeah. We've got a kind of a history of that 80s pop stuff.
It's
the
always
70s
nice.
We were buying.
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice seeing other people's collections though. And a lot of time, you'll see something, you think, oh, I've just got that somewhere, and you go and look for I'll go upstairs and have a look, and I'm like, I can't find it, and you'll be on Discogs thinking, oh shit, where'd that go? And
yeah.
I have to buy it back, but. Yeah, I think they're good things like that. I think they sort of encourage people like me to actually go sort of digging through my collection, and cause I forget what I've got. I mean, I don't think I've got a fraction of the amount that you have now, because I've sold a lot throughout the years, but still haven't got any clue of what I've actually got lurking in those shelves. It's always fun. Sometimes you just go in there and just narrow in on one particular section of the collection. I'm amazed at things that are in the wrong place, or things I thought I'd lost and I've gone and bought again. I've now got 3 copies of it, and it's just crazy.
It's funny actually. Quite a lot of people have said that to me. Oh, it's made me go and buy the record that you put out. Then I've gone and got one on Discogs. Oh, they've discovered new music. I mean, it's kind of the essence of DJing. It's sharing music with people, which is what we do. Instead of in a live setting, it's just have you heard this? Have you done it? It's sharing music, isn't it? So. And just collecting records. I'm a record collector. Don't necessarily DJ with it anymore. I don't really want to be carrying those record boxes around the world. But I still love collecting them. And it's just that the emotional attachment that you have with a tactile, physical copy of something that I still love, and I know you do as well.
Yeah, if you really love
shopping tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot. There's a really good little shop in Glasgow, and I forgot the name of it now actually, but it's a great second-hand place. Yeah. Definitely, you want to spend the whole day in there. Yeah, you're right. I mean, definitely something really tactile about music, and I think if I love an album, doesn't matter whether it's brand new or whether it's from the 60s or 70s, if you really love an album, I like to have it on a format. It doesn't matter if it's CD, vinyl, cassette, or even 8-track sometimes. I've still got an old working 8-track player in the lounge. And, having it on a format, it just feels like it's permanent, because I think like you see streaming platforms and so on, they can be gone in an instant. Artists can pull their, you've seen King Gizzard, they've recently taken all their music off Spotify, so I'm a little bit like, okay, but it doesn't matter, because I've got all the albums I like from them on vinyl. So it's actually nice to have something that is you can listen to regardless of whatever happens. We're seeing now a lot of people leaving Spotify and moving to other platforms and stuff like that. So it just feels secure.
Yeah. I love that was one thing that's really kind of changed with the digital era as well. I used to, from being a very young boy, I used to go to people's houses and they have a collection on the wall, and not just records but books as well. And people didn't mind. You just go and have a look through. Just go and I used to love that. And I used to tell you so much about somebody, what they've, what's in their collection. You could kind of work out exactly what kind of person they are. You can't do that. You can't go now. Can I have a little look through your computer? And it's just like that's been lost, and that's a shame, because that having a physical collection was it
was a social thing as well, wasn't it? You were taking records to school and swapping with your mate, and you swap a Frankie Goes to Hollywood for a Duran Duran for a couple of days, and you get it back scratched.
Record it on a cassette and then give it back.
And it's also that aspect of going to a record shop and having an actual human rather than an algorithm. Looking out for you and saying, hey, I got to know your taste. Here's a stack of records I think that you'd like.
And it was a social hub as well. It was somewhere to go hang out for the weekend, and like-minded souls, or weekend. Sometimes it was. We used to spend a lot of time in record shops. But just like-minded people, sharing music again. That's kind of what it boils down to a lot of the time.
Kind of getting to know both of you guys as artists. I think it's really unique what you both bring into the studio as producers as well. I think a lot of up-and-coming producers have this very narrow vision, maybe a tunnel vision of what producing means, which is you're sitting by alone in your room, opening up Ableton, getting to work. You guys bring a whole different perspective to production, in my opinion, starting kind of in the analog world in the 90s, working with engineers, but really bringing your DJ perspective and having it be reflected in the production of a track. But can you kind of both just talk a little bit about what you feel like you bring to the table in terms of in the production session? What are you both actually doing, and how are you leveraging your DJ experience and your experience of what happens in the club, what works on the dance floor, and infusing that into your productions?
I think experience is a key word there. Like asking what you bring to the table. Experience. You can't buy that really. And like just I've been in so many different situations in the studio and from a DJing point of view as well. So being able to bring that knowledge you know, to a project, whatever that project may be. But I mean, it all starts with ideas, which you constantly think, oh, that's a great one, and you kind of magpie in different bits and pieces, and then kind of working out what bits would fit together a little bit like a jigsaw.
I mean, the method of making music's changed in terms of like what we have. You know, I think initially, you know, we were at mixing desks and you're recording to tape and that sort of thing. But the way you make music has changed. But I think the way you actually approach creation is the same in the sense for me that I think it can be anything. It can be like you've got an idea. It could be a sample. It could be like a bass line. It can be anything really. Like the nucleus or the, you know, whatever triggers that track can change. You know, you might have an idea in mind about what you want to make, and it might go in a completely different direction. But I don't know what I'm trying to explain actually.
Yeah, there's no hard and fast rules. I don't think that's why it's like I don't start with a kick drum and like you just literally methodically go through. It can come from lots of different. It can start the starting point.
You could be like doing say for example a mix and you hear two tracks together and you think, oh, those two ideas coming together really works. It might be like a launch for. It can be launched from anything really. You might have a bit of dialogue or a little vocal snippet or be different each time.
Inspiration can come from anywhere really. It can strike at any time, and it's just kind of remembering it. I've got like millions of notes in my phone. I'm sure you've got ways of remembering, like, and then when you actually come to it's time to make a track, then you just feed on all that really. And
quite frequently, so I would like come up with like 4 or 5 ideas if I'm going in with like Jay, for example. We both work with Jay Gilbert, who's like an amazing guy. But quite frequently I'll go in there, I'll just really stuck for ideas, and I might have 4 or 5 different things and just bouncing between different projects and still not happy with any of them. Then suddenly, quite frequently, like half an hour before I go to bed on the day before the session, it'll be just a couple of random things. It could be so simple. It could be a bass line, a pad, a couple of simple drums, and that'll be the one that will then develop the next day, and it will become the one that was like
it suddenly takes a new path, doesn't it? I mean, sometimes the best things are the ones that come together quickly, you know, just kind of happen. But sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes you could be there for months, kind of trying to find. I mean, the classic example for us was the 3D track that we did with Darren. We were in with Jay as well, and we got this instrumental thing, and we were like, it kind of needs a vocal. And I remember Dad saying, like a Robert Owens style vocal, and Daddy went, I might have a Robert Owens acapella. He's like trawling through his computer, thinking, because he sent me an acapella like 20 years ago. It
was like 20, was it 20 years or 15 years, something crazy like that. And when I had the record label, and I'd been told that he'd be up for writing something, so I sent him this instrumental track, but the track I sent him was pretty bad. But he wrote a complete vocal to it, which is like, probably about 24 tracks of vocal, ad-libs, backing vocals, the lot. I just completely
sat on his computer all that time, and the trigger of Darren saying, it's like a Robert Owens style vocal, and Dave was like, I think I might have one. And literally, we took the acapella and we put it over the top. And it was amazing. We
didn't even need to arrange. Everything was completely there, wasn't it? It was just amazing.
Honestly, it was just the acapella over the top, and it just sat like it had just been sent from the production gods. Yeah. It's not always like that, believe me. I wish it was.
That was classic.
Yeah, that's really cool. 2 final questions about today's party. They had 200 releases on Seladoria event. Like what? That's what does that feel like?
I can't believe we're at 200 already. You just kind of getting it's a bit of a you're just getting a little routine of releasing records and to get to 200, that's not a lot of labels get that far. I mean, I've had 2 labels previous. I worked with a Stress record and Audio Therapy, and neither of them got as far as that. So it feels like we're a real milestone. But yeah, I just still love that process of finding new music and working with artists, and having this platform that hopefully building a platform that Selador's now a recognised label that people, I know from a DJing point of view, you kind of go to labels that you know and that you trust. And that's what we've always been trying to build. So some people say, "Oh, Selador have got a new release. I'm going to go listen to that." And then by association, the artists that you have on the label, they've got a good platform for it. And then just try to do your best by it. By every release, we just try and make these days it's making as much noise as you possibly can in this oversaturated marketplace, it's difficult to but yeah, when you get to 200 releases, you have got some sort of weight, I suppose. I hope we're kind of a recognisable, trusted brand now.
Yeah, I think you are.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Last question. 10 Skyline caps between you both.
Yeah, you should start giving caps out, shouldn't you? You've been the most caps like he doesn't do football.
Oh,
when you play for the national team, you get a cap.
Right, okay.
So that's what he's saying.
Okay.
So I think he's most capped. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I am.
I think you might be.
No, I don't think so. No, I think I'm pretty tied with.
Nicaraguta's up there, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Right, I'll check with the
you're
G-man.
six. Yeah, Grant would know.
Yeah.
I think you have 6. You have 4?
It's my 4th time here. Yeah.
Okay. Last question would be this. How do you keep things fresh for a dance floor that you've built a really consistent relationship with? And are you somewhat surprised by the energy that this Glasgow dance floor continues to bring to you year after year? They never grow tired of it.
No.
Not only year after year for you guys, week after week, month after month. You see the same people up there every single event, and they're going harder than they did the last event. They do not get tired of this.
I think the Scottish crowd's always been an amazing crowd, hasn't it? For as long as and they always bring the energy. But yeah, finding this is such a great little home for us now in Scotland. It's something we really look forward to.
It's consistent.
Yeah, consistent, and there's a real community there. Like you say, you get the same people come in and really supporting.
That's really key. I think the community. I think people know each other, and we know them, and we hang out together and have a good laugh and a drink and that sort of thing, and the welcoming, and you feel at home. I think that's one of the most important things. You feel like you feel like you're at home when you come here. In terms of keeping it fresh, I mean, I just think probably the same for a lot of us. You just go in there and you just try your absolute
music that
best.
does that. It's the music that makes it fresh every time, because you bring in it's always the same from a DJ point of view. It's about sharing music and it's connection with people. And so when you've got a new batch, you can't wait to share it with people. And so that's what keeps on driving us. And I think that's never really left me, and I think if it ever did, it'd be time to hang up the headphones.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Actually, I think the thing about places like Skyline is the fact that I think they do manage. The energy does draw the good out of you.
Yeah.
So you can have some off nights, and I don't think anyone's telling the truth if they say that every night's perfect. You have nights that you feel you haven't done your best, you weren't able to do your best, or you just couldn't get it to quite click. But I think if you do having it, you might drop a mix or whatever, but you still got the crowd there behind you, and they're forgiving, and then and I think that just pushes you into, giving the best. You just switch into a mode where it starts flowing really, really well. I think the crowd, the sound, all the different things that are important in clubbing, they come together and they make it an amazing night. The DJ is just one part of it. The DJ isn't the be all and end all. It's everything.
You feed off each other's
everything
energy,
coming
don't you?
together.
Yeah,
the
you
lighting,
feed off
the
them,
sound,
and they feed off you, and
the environment, everything. It's all every single thing plays a huge part. The decor up there is fantastic, and you look back at the pictures, you think, wow, I was a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful room up there. Great sound. It's lovely. It's always one that we look forward to every year, coming back and playing here. Yeah.
Always, yeah.
Long may it continue.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. This was a really awesome chat, and it's really nice to sit down with both of you together. So, can't wait for tonight. And,
bless you.
just really appreciative. Thank you.
I was a bit waffly again, but thank you very much again. We'll see you next time. I'm always waffly with you. I don't know why.
It's awesome.